guard your own privacy.
Your phone said if you need the comments.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, there's nobody here to comment, so I can't.
I know, but sorry, we're a couple minutes late. We should do something funny at the beginning of our lives.
Well, you can sing a song.
There's one person. Hello.
Good evening to you too. Hey, now I can see the hair on the screen.
Yeah, but then you.
All because they're disappearing.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
He is here.
I am.
Let's move this over, maybe.
I was just trying to get my snack in order. Cora's a little preoccupied, so.
You're still not in there.
I'm fine, right where I am.
No, I don't think we can.
Oh my, he's gonna jiggle us and stop it.
Too close?
Yeah.
There we are. I think.
See, I got too close. Now they all left.
They all left, scared them away. We can just back up like this. And you're smaller.
I know, but I'm using my lap.
How's everybody doing today? It's been a beautiful day, although it's kind of muggy. It was supposed to rain and thunderstorm, lightning all day today, and we got nothing. It was actually a pretty nice day. Didn't even rain. Well, last night it rained, but I don't think we had any rain during the day, did we?
I don't think so.
It was actually really, really nice. Good evening. I'm still here. Hi. Yeah, somebody left. Somebody came. Somebody left. They clicked on and they went, ooh. And they got off.
These boring people. All right, I'm just about.
It's raining in Massachusetts. Yeah, well, we've had. Well, it's fall now, right? So in the fall we tend to get a lot of rain. Seems like. Which is fairly normal, right about the time you want to get in the field and do some harvesting, then it gets to be muddy and you can't.
Rainy season.
The joys of farming.
All right, I think I'm good.
But it's all part of it. Oh, I'm one left. I got my other phone running here so I can see comments. But
yeah, but you don't need to now because we can see them.
Well, as long as I answer them fast enough, because I don't know how to find them back unless I push this guy, maybe.
Oh, I don't know.
All messages are visible. What happens then? Oh yeah, and then I can scroll back. There you go. You guys don't mind me poking you.
But look how intelligent you look. Oh.
Yeah. The eyesight's not getting any better. Anyway, we needed some rain here. It was plenty dry. It has been all summer. Yeah, the fields that are typically a little bit wetter did better this year. Fields that are drier did worse, of course, because there was no rain. To be expected, I guess, but
it really looks like a midget sitting back here.
Because you're so far back. I can get back here too. Now my head's smaller. Somebody said they had rain. Where'd the comments go? They disappeared again. They always disappeared? No, it should be there. Oh, there they are. It rained down there. Alan, I did not leave. Karen says we need the rain here. Yeah, so that was the same. Same as here. High of 91 today in West Texas. 91, what's that? I never remember that. I can't even look it up. My phone's acting up. 91 sounds warm to me, though. Can I steal some of your cheese?
No, you got your own snack.
Wait for my phone to reboot. So yeah, it's been, what do we have, two nice days this week, maybe? 3?
Possibly.
It rained a lot this week. Like, well, no, I shouldn't say it. It didn't amount to much. It was just a lot of rainy days, but it's not like we got a lot of rain. 91.
No, I don't feel like it rained very much at all.
Fahrenheit to Celsius. 32, 33. Yeah, that's pretty warm.
I'd say.
I think it's 24 here today, but really muggy. Or at least this evening. We're supposed to get a thunderstorm tonight again. So
Last night I thought we were going to, but it just rained.
Yeah, tonight we're going to get some. So it's 20 degrees now. Not too bad.
Which is what?
20 degrees? Oh boy, I got to go the other way. 20 Celsius to Fahrenheit. 68. It's 68 here. But it was warmer. I mean, it's dark out now, right?
Right.
And hopefully it's not raining tomorrow morning because I'm shipping some cattle and I don't want to do it in the rain. No, it should be good. Shipping some calves tomorrow. The first half of our calves will load up and ship out, so hopefully that goes well.
Mm-hmm.
We have them separated already. It's just a matter of loading them in the trailer.
And if they're still separated by morning.
Well, hopefully, yeah. They're in that corral we built. The prices are actually up again, so that's... Hopefully, yeah, well, hopefully they stay up. They've been up the last 2 weeks. The prices have been a little better. So we're hoping we're going to do all right on those calves.
Mm-hmm.
They're a nice looking bunch. Should be good. I hope. If you're a buyer watching this, please bid lots.
Yeah.
I miss anything else?
I don't think so.
Nope. We got a quiet bunch today. What else is new? Your garden?
Maybe they're all snacking like us.
Well, it could be. Stuff in their face. Half your garden we tilled up.
Yep, it's ready for next year.
It kind of got ruined by the calves and the pigs anyway. So we tilled it all up and put manure in it, tilled it. And I'll probably put a little more manure in it yet. I don't know what you were thinking, but it doesn't look like a lot of manure out there now.
No.
I wonder about putting some more on, but and then putting plastic over it yet for fall, possibly.
Looks a lot nicer than it.
It
looks a lot nicer than a ruined garden.
No, for sure. Got to finish the fence around it. How many do we have to sell? Well, originally I wasn't going to sell any because we sell a lot of meat here. And so I was going to keep all the males and run them through the food chain. But we could use the income. So we thought we'd sell a bunch anyway. And I was going to keep the females back as replacements to grow the herd a bit. But I don't know. I think we're not going to bother with that. We're going to sell one. So we have, what's out there? 20 calves out there, I think. I won't sell them all, though. Tomorrow, I think we'll ship 10 of them. And then I'm going to decide how many of the last ones. I'm not sure yet how many of those we'll sell. But we have 20 calves. So we'll decide from there how many we keep. There's a couple of really nice ones that I wouldn't mind keeping. These ones, I don't know who the bull was because we bought these cows pregnant. So now we have a good bull in there. That'll make a big difference, for next year's crop of calves. I'll give you a nice leaping. Hey.
We'll talk to him.
Oh, yeah. That's just stimulate him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll be gone all day doing that tomorrow. I could ship them with somebody else, but we decided to drive them down ourselves. Well, I don't even know if we could ship them with someone else. I'm presuming we could ship them with someone else, but we're going to go drive down with them.
Oh, not we're just you and...
Well, Cora and I, yeah. So that'll be an all-day affair. And then I'll be back here again Tuesday. Right? Well, Monday night, but I won't get any work done tomorrow.
Right. Lazy bugger.
Mm-hmm. I'm slacking all day.
Just sit on his butt.
All right, my time to fill my face. You talk.
I have nothing to say. I'm never very good at this.
Oh, you get talk with something.
Normally you talk and I listen. Even though you say I talk a lot, but you do all the talking.
If it's the right conversation and topic, you talk a lot.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah. I need interaction. Like I need somebody to ask questions. And, yeah. Is the house almost done? No. Well.
Yeah, go sleep.
Getting there.
Vinny, go sleep. Lay down.
It's getting there.
Good boy.
It's always that fine. That last stage is when you're not quite finished and you kind of live with it.
Yeah. So we got a video coming up. we built the kitchen cabinets, the doors, and finished trimming out the cabinets. So that'll be all done here soon. I haven't screwed the hinges on yet, so once that's done, then we'll finish the video off and put it up. What else did we get done in the house? No, we did some work behind the wood stove. I don't know if we videotaped any of that, did we?
I don't think so.
We'll probably do a tour of the house here soon. She's been busy with a pile of canning.
Yeah, I wanted to do a pantry tour.
So she'll have a pantry tour coming up, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd like to. I just
We've been
find
doing a
I
lot of
kinda
cleanup.
use it as fast as I use it.
Doing a lot of fall cleanup right now. Making things look tidy around here. Kids have been busy with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the shop. We've been working on the shop. There's a video coming of that too, I think. Yeah.
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah, we videotaped. So we got some of the roof steel on, well, most of it, I guess. And then I put some windows in, closed in one side with tie bar. So starting to look a bit more like a shop anyway.
Yeah, it looks nice.
I'm going to start hauling sand in maybe next week. We'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
To level it off inside. And finish the grading outside. We won't be finishing it all this year. We're just going to kind of close it in with tie bar and put the windows and the doors in. And then, I don't know, that can happen some other day. And then over this winter, we're hoping to work in the house some more, get some more trim work done. And what else we got? There's more flooring to be done.
Well, you were going to do a video on the doors.
Yes. Oh yeah, I'm going to build. So I'm in the process of building the bedroom doors. I did videotape some of that, but again, that's not a finished project yet. So whenever I finish those doors, then I will put that up. What else? I feel like there's something else we did around the house here.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
We got a pile of firewood to cut.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta get that done yet. Winter's coming. I usually cut my firewood in the winter when we need it and we're cold. Seems like.
Never fails.
Hey?
Never fails.
Nah, we never get to it on time.
That's it.
You have a nice sized kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's it definitely goes. It's the house we always wanted, I guess, the plan that we worked out for many years.
I have one regret. That's too big.
It's too big, yeah. So that's what I was getting to. I mean, it's what we always wanted, and it seems like ideal, but at the same time, now that we're in it, it just seems so big. You know, it's more clean, and we face this like we're not worthy to live in this big house thing, which I know seems ridiculous, and compared to a lot of houses, it's not that big, I guess. There's a lot of people. It's houses that are bigger. Hello. There's a lot of people's houses that are a lot bigger, but yeah, I don't know. We just don't feel worthy of living in one that big.
Yeah, but I just feel like it's just a waste of space, some of it.
Yeah.
And like you said, more to clean. That's a big one.
And it takes up so much time and effort. A smaller house would be long done, and we could focus that on something else.
That, and I feel, the needs and wants. We were kind of moving to this place to minimalize our lives and to, refocus and all that other stuff. And I feel like we kind of got sucked into the worldly thing again and
building big.
Made it big.
And we do have a lot of children, and we hope to have lots of grandchildren. And this was supposed to be our forever home. So that's kind of how you justify having a big house, I guess. But with hindsight, we would have, if we could do it again, we'd build it a lot smaller, and then the kitchen would be smaller too. I think it is ideal for our family. It gives lots of room to work. I mean, you and a bunch of your girls can stand in the kitchen and not trip over each other. We measured it, from the island to the countertop to have enough room that people could work without banging into each other. You can open up, an oven door or whatever like that kind of thing. So even the pantry's ideal whenever she does a pantry tour. For a large family to store that much food, I find most people's pantry is like a shoe closet, and you can't even fit a year's worth of food in it, right? So where we could easily store a year's worth of food in there, I think. So I don't know. It's good. I enjoy it, but I don't feel worthy of it. And if we could do it again, we'd definitely build it smaller.
Yeah, definitely. I just find a bigger space, more clutter.
Yeah,
More
bigger
thing.
barn, smaller house.
Yeah, you just accumulate more stuff when you have a bigger space.
Mm-hmm.
As well.
You're still not sleeping.
No. Everybody's not yelling either.
No, he's not. It's funny though, because you tell him to lay down and go to sleep, and he'll actually lay down and go. Well, he won't go to sleep, but he'll lay down anyway. Finny, go to sleep. Lay down. Hey, now he just crawled back down and laid down. It's amazing how fast they grow. It's too fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't seem fair.
No, what's the matter?
No.
Sound like it. Yeah, Cora's she turned 14 this year. I don't know where that time went.
Yeah. It's crazy how fast they grow.
Keep growing.
I always say it just doesn't seem fair because it takes so long to incubate them, and then boom, they come out and they just like shoot up like crazy, and before you know it, they've
Hello, Pete.
Grown out of everything. And
how's things in Vermont? Yeah. Well, he started walking now too.
Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting. He was holding on to things and he'd hold your hand, but now he's actually walking by himself.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what, 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
Yeah, I know he's like really.
But now he's like motoring already. Once he
he doesn't even want to crawl anymore. He just goes. Which of course he gets into everything now.
You haven't videotaped any of that either, have you? Him walking?
A little bit. But
you can do a little bit of that. Put a little update on him.
Yeah.
Sometime. Fall is here. Colder and rainier lately. Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here. We've had a few mornings now where it's like 4 or 5 degrees. I don't know if we had any frost yet, did we?
I think we might have had one. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, nothing visible. Like I noticed the watermelons
black.
looked like they had frost.
But
like I didn't ever go outside and see frost. In that sense, like there's no white blanket.
No.
But yeah, there's a few mornings where we had 4 degrees. But then last night it hardly cooled off at all. It was still, what did I say that was? 20 degrees is what? 60 something?
68.
68. So yesterday was this morning it was still about 18 degrees out. Whatever that is for you guys. I should figure out how to do this conversion in my head, and then I wouldn't have to do this. 64. So it was still 64 out this morning. That's not bad. But definitely a lot rainier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Damp. Trying to dry laundry never works in this type of weather.
Yeah, well, her dryer quit, so that doesn't help.
Yeah.
We do use a dryer once in a while on the generator. But I find at least the old generator, I don't know about the new one, but the old generator, I think there was too much fluctuation in the power, and it fried it seemed to fry a lot of things. I couldn't charge my power tools on it either because a lot of batteries would go dead. And then washer and dryer, we always just buy used ones, $50 or whatever we can find.
Yeah.
And
just for that reason.
We seem to go through quite a few of them. They burn out on us. I'm sorry, I cannot remember Tinker's name.
Sorry, we're rusty.
I remind me of your name. I'm sorry. I should know it. He's walking. That's wonderful. It seems like yesterday he was born. I know. I don't know where that time goes.
Yep.
But I can still remember holding Cora as a little baby. That doesn't seem like that long ago either.
That's what I was saying. It seems like it's so unfair, right? It takes, like I said, so long to make them in my tummy, and then all of a sudden they come out and they just take off like missiles.
Well, I guess Waden's the last one now. Yeah, he just had his birthday now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Where did that go?
Yeah.
He just turned 9.
Yeah.
Same thing. I remember him as a baby. Mm-hmm. We had just you ended up with meningitis after he was born, and then we ended up moving back to Ontario from Alberta. We were living in Alberta at that time. And that was quite a stressful time period with all that going on. But yeah, it doesn't seem like very long ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Time flies.
There's a finger.
Who's there?
Cora.
Hi, Cora. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Ready to babysit?
No.
He's doing good. I'll take another coffee, though.
You might have
to now. Decaf? Did I show? I think I did show this mug, didn't I? Yeah, I love this mug. I thought I lost it the other day. I thought I left it on a fender and drove away. Turns out I had put it away nicely, but isn't that nice? Anybody that didn't see it last time, it's not very clear, but she put all the kids in the family on there. It's wonderful. I really like it.
I'm glad.
I like it even more full of coffee though. Cora's gonna remedy that
Do you need
for
anything
me. Pardon?
do you need anything for snack?
We have.
No, we got some
I
snacks.
stacked up before I came up.
We're fat enough to survive for a year or two without snacks.
You're like poking at these people. Poke, 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 poke.
Sorry. I have to look through your comments. Our trees are turning. Oh, maybe she gave me her name. Patty. I was gonna say that, but I hate saying. All right. Patty says our trees are turning here earlier than normal because it was so hot during our dry season in Northeast Oregon. It was 85 here today and cloudy.
Yeah, we have that here too. They really, really turned early this year.
Actually, interesting enough, this spring, I already thought they were turning
Yeah.
because it was so dry. And then we got a bout of rain and the color kind of came back into the trees.
But like, really, it's just like overnight. Everything's like, and normally like you get the yellows first because of all the poplars and that type of thing, right? They start to change, but like it's gone. We're orange and we're red. Like there's a lot of stuff that's really orange and red.
Our poplars are very turned.
Well, yeah, but like it went yellow and then boom, orange. And
The maples
yellow.
haven't turned yet.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
Are they now?
If you take a drive, they are. Even those other trees, I can never remember what they are. They're all red down by the outhouse.
Okay. Oh yeah, those ones that spring up every year and then die again.
Mm-hmm.
Sumac.
Oh, that could be.
Sumac tree, something like
It
that.
could be. Yeah.
Something like that.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys. Did you have fun doing chores?
Oh, yeah.
Kids are doing chores for the neighbors right now.
When I came back, I had to pull my, I had to get my boots up from my hot working. The one's easy, but this
Got big wool.
Oh, your socks too big for your
on it.
boots?
Huh?
Socks are too big for your boots?
Yeah, they're so thick, and I plugs out my legs.
She couldn't get her boots off. Okay, good night.
I would turn this around, but I don't even know if I can.
No, it's fine.
Oh, where was I?
Hey, go to sleep. Have a good sleep.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow.
Good night, guys. Love you.
Okay.
Pete says, had to run the wood stove to dry clothes. Very humid.
Yeah, I've been running it a lot.
That's such a nice
lately.
dry heat. I'm looking forward to that actually about
I've
winter.
been
It's supposed
running
to
it
do
a
anything
lot
like
actually this last week. I
Yeah.
just love that warmth. You go outside. And
Well,
it's
that's the only way we have showers too, right?
yeah, but it's like
Quick
so
water.
cold or like cool out there, right? And then all of a sudden you come in the house, and I just love that warmth from the wood stove. So I've been running it a lot too this last week.
Whoops. Big mess. Yeah. I look forward to that with winter though.
Mm-hmm.
I love that wood stove heat. We keep gaining people and losing people here.
Mm-hmm.
Henry David. Hello, Henry. Homeless prepper here. Hi, all. Homeless prepper.
How do you prep when you're homeless? Wow, spiritual.
Yeah, tell me more about that. How come you're homeless and where are you prepping?
We should all be homeless, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I keep my finger
I
here.
feel like you keep poking me.
Well,
in
I don't
there.
know how else I can. Somehow I got to scroll up here, but I guess I'm going past the camera. That's probably a little annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I'm very sorry. Patty says, hey, my son Samuel is 46 and his girls are all in their 20s. Yeah, where's that time? Yeah, it's just. I remember people used to tell me, well, you just wait till you get older, time goes faster. And it doesn't make any sense. Time doesn't go any faster, but it sure seems like it.
Mm-hmm.
One day flows into the next, 1 week passes into the next, 1 year goes by. Yeah, it's nuts.
And it's funny because even with this last baby, I tried to spend a lot more time with him because I feel like some of our other children, just stuff got, you're so busy and trying to keep up with everything, that all of a sudden you wake up and the kid's sitting up and, all those things are gone. So I tried to spend a little bit more time with him, but even then it was like, wow, where did that go?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Even when you had those moments, you're still spending so much time.
Yeah.
Or, it just goes.
Too fast. I guess if I keep my finger out of the way here, that works too.
Mm.
Patty says, oops, that's northwest near Portland. Oh, because she said northeast. Yeah. Oh, I gotcha. Portland, Oregon. Things have settled down there, I'm guessing, by now again, eh? Like, you don't have any unrest there. It was quite, when was that? It's got to be at least a year ago, 2 years ago? Yeah, we were living here already. Anyway, you were dealing with a lot of unrest in your area.
This is supposed to already be in bed.
Henry says, I am a homeless veteran and more prepped than everyone I know. Wow, most people aren't prepping for anything. And I'm not like a doomsday scenario prepper. I just think it's wise to just be prepared for anything. I mean, we've covered this before. We've talked about this, right? Like you should have X amount of dollars in the bank to kind of for a rainy day. You never know what's going to happen. You should have some food on hand. You know, to think that there's always going to be food in the grocery store is kind of irresponsible because it might not be. Or the prices are crazy. What did we see for butter this week?
$8.50.
Yeah, $8.50 for a stick of butter. That used to be what, $3?
Yeah.
So even something like that, I mean, that's just inflation, but still.
Yeah, exactly.
If you could prepare for that somehow and float your way through a little bit, it doesn't hurt. The dollars only go so far. Henry says, how do you guys feel about stacking silver? What do you mean about that? Like buying it and storing it? I'm assuming, like just having a stash of silver in the house? Clarify, then I will delve in. Henry also says, I'm in the western North Carolina mountains right now. Well, that'd be beautiful. Yeah, it looks nice over there. We are hoping, well, I don't know. I won't say too much, I guess, but we're looking forward to a holiday, maybe. We're thinking maybe. I don't know if we can get south of the border yet, but
always think.
Well, we do a lot of thinking in a lot of different directions, but we'd really like to go check out the States sometime. So. Patty says, with you on the wood heat, I miss having a wood stove. There is nothing as cozy. Yeah, there's just something about that. You're freezing, or you're even just a little bit cold, or you're damp, and you come up beside that wood stove, and it just can't beat that. Same as a campfire. I like that too. When you're camping and you're cold, you can get right up to the campfire. That heat just dries you right out.
Yeah, that's true.
And even the smell of wood smoke. I was working on the roof, putting the steel on the roof of the shop, and then of course our chimneys come out of the house, so the smoke kind of comes by as she's, burning another log. It's just a beautiful smell. Camping 18 to 20 feet in the air. Henry says, I have stashed over 500 ounces of silver and a few ounces of gold. Oh, okay, in that regard. Yeah, I think that's wise. Our paper money is just paper. Actually, somebody told me the other day it's not even money, it's debt. And I still can't quite wrap my head around that. But our banknotes are just IOUs. They're not actually worth anything. Right? It's a
false sense of security.
Hey?
It's a false sense of security.
Yeah, it's meaningless. And then both your country's worse off than ours. I mean, you got $23 trillion of debt. That's nasty. And we're what, 1.3 trillion? So per capita, it's probably not a lot different.
That was a month ago. I'm sure it's up to that.
Yeah, I mean, we're a much smaller country, I guess. But anyway, yeah, it's probably up higher. Our current government is spending money much, much faster than we can make it. Yeah, I don't know. The future of our dollars are unsure. But what to do about it, I'm not sure. Again, I'm not a doomsday guy. I need food on my table. I need future for my family, my wife, kids, grandkids. Think about that lots. I mean, we don't have any, obviously, but we hope to one day. And what kind of future will they have? And what can we do to help them, I guess, now already? What kind of decisions can we make that's going to benefit them best? It's about them, not us.
I think of the years ago with the churches and persecution and all the things that people had to think of back then, right? No, it was obviously a lot worse back then. But I think, we have to discuss and think of those things too, right? What does the future hold for the grandkids and that?
Who there?
Just the baby.
Oh, he opened the door.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, so the money is one thing. I think we're going to have a problem there. We're going to face a, you know, recession. We're, I think, probably in already. Is that going to lead to a depression? It could. There's a lot of factors at play, and I don't know. I'm not going to. I can't speculate what's going to happen. But is it wise to have something else? Yeah, for sure. For us, we feel it's wise to have investments in food. You know, living food, to have animals around that you can eat and have, you know, food stored away. To be able to eat is important. If you can't go out and buy a new coat or a new pair of shoes, you can make do without, but you can't make do without food. And food is a good barter option because everybody needs food. So even having the capacity to grow food, in my opinion, is really important. To have a piece of land, however big it might be, but to have, you know, even half an acre is considerable for growing food. Yeah. So not everybody can have a 100-acre farm or a 50-acre farm or 200-acre farm, but if you can have a spot where you can at least grow some food, that's going to give you a lot of bargaining chips when things go down.
I think
if they go down, they might not. But even then you know where your food's from, right?
I just think of biblically, right? Spiritual food, right? We need to be prepared spiritually and spiritually fed and that type of thing too, right? If you put that
so in. That's the physical, but then you touched on the spiritual there. That's what something I'm really alarmed about in our countries as well. The whole Western world. I wouldn't know where it's better, but it's
not looking good.
No, the future of Christianity does not look very good to me, and that concerns me far more. To be spiritually starved is not a good thing, and yeah, we're not heading in a good direction. Our country, yours isn't heading in any better direction, I don't think.
No, there's certain states down
certain states are better than others for sure, but the things that are being pushed through right now are, I don't know. That bothers me a lot for the future for our children. But yeah, I would to the silver and gold. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think it's a good idea to be prepared. It says coal heat is pretty nice too. Now I've never tried that in a wood stove. Like we had the coal.
It'd be a coal stove.
We had a coal boiler outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't be a wood stove, but like you actually burn coal in the house, like in your wood stove, or in your coal stove. Excuse me. Henry says, I have 2 years of freeze-dried food, Connie Bear traps, fishing, yo-yos, and a ton of supplies. Yeah, so you're very prepared. We wouldn't be that far along, but we're in a fairly resourceful area. Well, you would be down there too. There's food around us. We would have, not necessarily stashed away, but we'll survive for a year for sure, I would think. Patty says 2020 was a very violent year here. Now it's increased crime and an ever-growing sea of homeless camps.
Yes. You know what? I always thought homeless camps were only in the States for homeless people. Because in Canada, you never, ever, ever seen a homeless person. So you go down to like maybe Toronto or something like that, you might see 1 or 2 homeless people. But it was never very, very popular at all. Now we drive into any big city in this country and there's camps and tent camps, homeless camps everywhere. People are so messed up on drugs right now. It is so sad. And I never thought I would see that in this country. Like Canada is not, that's not Canada. It's just, it's crazy how quickly, because even in the last 5 years, right? Like I would have to say that there was certain country or certain like cities, like major cities, Vancouver or Toronto and things like that. You see a lot, but like I'm talking about just, I don't know, normal, 50,000 population of cities. Like they're not very big cities, and you still see them. It's just crazy. I never thought I'd see that in Canada. It just, and like I said, it's happened in the last.
Oh, it's getting worse.
5 years, just insane how fast it's
happened. Things change all the time, but the level of change we've seen in the last 5 years is mind-blowing.
Yep.
Yeah. In a lot of things, walking away from God is the biggest concern to me. But along with that comes all of this other stuff.
Yeah, if we go into the major city, the closest to us, we downtown, we're quite alarmed. We usually try to avoid that area at night with our children, and and then it brings a lot of questions with our kids. How did that happen? How did that? And it's just such a breakdown of society. It's just so sad, right? And I'm sure most of these people that are all addicted to these drugs and things, that they were just normal people, and something just drastic happened in
There's
their
that one
life.
song I haven't heard in a long time. But somebody's daughter, I think it's called. Remember that one? She's driving down the road and she sees somebody there. Anyway, it's somebody's daughter, somebody's sister, somebody's. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always think of that too.
Yeah.
You can look at them as, I don't know, as a
Well,
homeless
and I
person, or
always
you can
think
see
of
them as
how-
somebody's child.
Yeah, but I also look at it as how often are these people missing, right? Like, so, like, a loved one has reported them missing, and then they end up in some other city that's nowhere near where they originally were from, and nobody knows they're still alive, right? So now they're all messed up on these drugs, and nobody knows they're alive, and it's just such a sad state of affair now. It just breaks my heart, because I just think how did we get that far in this? A lot of people would just turn a blind eye and just pretend it doesn't happen. Like I said, we drive down this one particular spot in town, and it's like there's homeless people coming out of the woodwork at night. Like, it's just insane how they just literally come out of these back alleyways. It's quite scary. And then you literally drive over the next block and they're playing soccer in the field, like wide open parks, and playing soccer as if life's
It's a
just
couple blocks away.
whatever. It's still pretty close. That I'm like, do you realize what's just down the road from you? And you guys are just playing, no big deal. Life just carries on. I just think it's mind blowing. It's just
so much misery, and then several blocks over, life is
like
just normal.
it's crazy. It just breaks my heart every time. Every time I see it.
Yep.
That's my little rant.
No, nothing wrong with that. That's something you've always had on your heart, that we can help these people somehow.
Yeah, I just think even just praying with them is just.
Henry says, I've been off grid for 25 years. Well, 25 years ago, they didn't have much for solar. Maybe don't use any of that, but. Excuse me. Well, I guess if you're homeless, you wouldn't worry about that. Yeah, that's true. Henry says, also, I am not a doomsdayer, just a prudent homeless vagabond.
Okay.
So you travel around a lot, then, I'm guessing. Now, this would not be the kind of homeless like Anissa was just talking about. I'm assuming you have, a tent, or you spend time with other people, or I'm just guessing you're not living on the streets, of some city doing drugs. I hope not. If you got all that stuff prepped, then I doubt it.
No.
Patty, butter here is $7 a pound for mid-quality stuff. Milk is 99 cents for half a gallon on sale once in a while. Okay, so we don't buy milk. I haven't looked. I don't know.
I don't. Yeah.
I never look at milk, I guess. Butter, we were making our own. We were perfectly capable of making our own. It's just got so much going on that we decided we'll stop milking the cow. We'll let the calf do it. So we haven't made butter for quite a while. But we maybe should.
Price. We might want
At that price, yeah, because that adds up pretty quick, right?
It sure does. And we go through a lot of it.
Yeah, because you try to use less vegetable oils and stuff too, right? So. Henry, I bought 10 acres 20 years ago and will head out to it next year. I want to spend my last days homesteading.
There you go. Good luck with that.
Yeah, no, it sounds
It's a
great.
peaceful life.
Absolutely. I love it. No, we're not we are homesteading, and yet we're not. I mean, we live fairly normal.
Mm-hmm.
We broke this land. I guess there was nothing
is
going
it?
on here, and we're doing something with it. But part of me thinks of homesteading, not using tractors either. More old school. But
I don't think.
I don't know what classes is homesteading.
I don't think that's what the homesteading is nowadays.
Patty, ours is all IOUs here too. Trust in the Lord. Work to live a quiet life. Being a woman in my 60s on my own, it weighs on me, especially not having land.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you have family around or something that, there's always somebody around, I guess, that you can maybe get a piece of dirt and grow something with. Some places have community gardens. I've seen a bunch of those around
Yeah,
here
even
lately.
a couple acres or even a half an acre. Or
I know in our area, there's actually quite a few people that are very like-minded. Not necessarily as far as religion, but just as far as world events and what's going on, and working together. Um, as far as food, making sure everybody's got enough to eat. If anybody has an issue with something, they can, post it on this group, and we're all there to help out. If somebody needs help with something, or yeah, I don't know, and that's really nice because somebody grew too many squash or something, and another person has extra corn or I don't know, whatever. You kind of work together that way so that everybody has enough. And I'd love to see more communities like that spring up all over the place.
I always think too that even if you don't have much land, you can always go up, right? Try to plant up, right?
Yeah,
a lot
vertical,
of things will grow on vines and go up with it as opposed to across, right? And that really saves a lot of space.
Yeah, for sure. Excuse me. Oh. Pete, your Amish and Mennonite neighbors do a good job of making sure they are prepared, but they are not afraid because they know they are strangers and pilgrims.
Ours?
I actually find that most Mennonites and Amish, I do hardly prepare anything anymore.
Yeah, that we know what you mean.
Yeah, like when they see our pantry, they're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm sure lots of them still do, and I grew up thinking that all the Amish and Mennonite did a lot of that and had a big garden. But I'm even surprised that a lot of their gardens, at least here, a lot of their gardens are not very big, and I think there's no way a family could eat out of that for a whole year.
Right, and I feel like a lot of them have been like the women, like they're really encouraging the women to not have to like prepare so much in some of their churches, right? Like, oh, it's okay, just go to the grocery store, right? I actually got a lot of jars from a Mennonite or lady that I know that her grandmother had all these jars in her basement, and she got them given, and she's never ever used them. So she's like, when we were having a jar shortage, she gave them all to me because she had no use for them. I was like, well, fill them. Right? But yeah, it's surprising actually. Our neighbors right across the road didn't even know how to butcher or a pig, and to do the lard, any of that.
Yeah, and they're Amish.
They're Amish. They've never ever done it.
That surprised us actually.
Yeah,
So even them they've kind of lost some, not all of them, but a lot of the older guys I talked to here too. About smoking meat. I remember my grandpa doing that, but they've never done it.
See, what I found has happened in this country is there is a lot of it's so hard to farm, right? And they can't make a living on a couple of acres now in this country because everything costs so much. So a lot of them are leaving the country life and going into trades. So then with the trades, unless you have the trades on your own property, like there's some with steel, unless what you're doing is on your own property, a lot of times they can't take their children with them to work. So the child can't go to work until they're 14 in this country with their parent, maybe 12. Anyway, it's against the law because they might get hurt and all that other stuff. So a lot of them are losing their trades. They're losing, their history and teaching their children because their children just don't watch them, can't hands-on learning, right? And that's what I think's happening. So they don't know anything of the homesteading idea.
Yeah, that, and like you said, it's a lot of work, and you can get your meat cheaper in the store. If you add up the hours of time it takes you to do all of it, you can just go to the store and buy it. Right?
Well, that and where a lot of this particular group came from. In that area, there's so many varieties and so many of them. So not everybody has to be a farmer now because there is so many people in that area already doing that. So I find that but mostly I think
that surprised us.
Yeah,
I thought more of them would have grown more of their food, but I get the idea that you're saying there for sure. Karen says, Patty, I'm in the same boat as you, 67 and no land. So you both live in the city then? You don't have a backyard or anything? Patty says, truth there, Pete. Pete says, we have a coal/wood stove. Has grates and a shaker handle so it can burn coal effectively. Okay, so our wood cook stove has the option for coal or wood. We've never tried coal in it. How far behind am I? Oh, not too bad. Not too bad.
Right there. Oh.
Patty, in the 1980s, I worked in downtown Portland, and we were known for our generosity towards homeless folks, but there weren't that many. 15 years ago, it suddenly changed, and it exploded in the last 5.
Mm-hmm.
So 15 years ago, how long ago was 2008? That's 14 years ago already.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when we had this financial crisis.
Yeah,
and that's
recession.
when you and I first were like, okay, something's not right here because we're living in this bubble. In my opinion, nothing's been fixed since then. The banking issues are still there. They just stuck a bunch of Band-Aids on here and there, and then we plowed on for another 14 years. But I mean, now this piggy bank's looking pretty ugly. It's got cracks and holes all over the place, held together with bubble gum tape. And I think at some point it's going to just burst.
Yeah.
So I don't know. My financial advice to anybody is just to not have too much debt. I know some people that say, "Oh, debt's not a problem." No, that's fine. In my opinion, try to have the least amount of debt as you can, and have resources around. Whether that's gold and silver, like Henry was saying, or food, or firewood, or even relationships. Having people around that you know that you can work together with. Maybe you can trade work for food later or something. But I do think something's coming.
You're right.
Did you bang your head? Hey, that's quite the sad face.
Yeah.
You might get loud yet. Patty, true. Normal people addicted, enslaved by drugs. I've met some smart, gifted people in the streets. Their stories are heartbreaking. Yeah, isn't that something? I think it's too easy to dehumanize them and not see them as individuals or people. That somebody might have a degree or they might have had a perfectly good life, and then something happened that just triggered them to go off the deep end.
I look at it as we're all one step away, right? And some of these drugs, right? I think I said it in another live before too.
Okay, buddy.
A lot of times it's not just like the drugs that they're addicted to. A lot of times they were given them by doctors, right? Or I had this thought the other day that most people don't realize that they're so inflamed because we eat so much sugar and carbs nowadays that our body just gets so inflamed, right? So then inflammation causes pain. So what do people do? They go to their doctor, they tell them all their symptoms, they tell them they have some sort of illness, fibromyalgia or whatever. There's all these different diseases that they, and a Band-Aid solution is give them
arthritis.
give them pain medicine, right? So you give them pain meds, and then it helps because, you feel great, right? They get a life and they do things, and then all of a sudden they ran out of these meds, so now the pain comes back. So then, they go back to the doctor, and in this country, you don't really have one set doctor. Even in a family doctor clinic, you don't necessarily see your same doctor every time you go. So you can literally make up some story every time you go and see a different doctor, and they can give you all these different, drugs. It doesn't take long for somebody to get reliant on that, and then the rest is history. And it's so sad because it happens all the time. I actually had a doctor say that out in Saskatchewan. I said about the people in Saskatchewan, like in the major cities there, they were all addicted, and he says, a lot of them, it happened from doctors. You realize he's the one that, and I'm like, yeah, I never really thought of that. And he was a doctor saying, it's malpractice is what it is. These doctors are giving, these people these drugs and getting them hooked on it, right? Which is terrible.
Mm-hmm. Pushing pills.
Mm-hmm.
Patty, they are someone's child, paternity, sibling.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. Yeah. Patty, again, I cannot type tonight. That should say parent, whatever I say instead of paternity. I am. That makes more sense, but it's all good. Could be because I keep poking you in the eye. Patty, I will be moving and I'm praying for a place to grow food. I'm in an apartment with not enough full sun.
That would be
Yeah,
tough.
so that's what I think a lot. So if things go down, down a bad road, people living in for us, Toronto would be the big city. But anybody in a high rise, they're pretty tough to find a place to grow food there. Right? Even if there was a park, I don't imagine they're gonna want you ripping it up with the rototiller, putting in some potatoes in the city park, right? So maybe find somebody out in the country. But then again, I wouldn't be super thrilled. I mean, 1 or 2 people growing a vegetable garden here is not bad, but if you have 100 or 200 or 300 people coming over here, they all want a vegetable garden, pretty soon I ain't got no field left. So
down.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess that's why I choose never to live in a city. I believe a better place for us is in the country. Oh, what country were we looking at the other day? There's a pile of people that live in villages and they have big backyards. They grow food there. Some Eastern European place. Anyway, they grow food in their backyards. So kind of like in towns like we would have, but our subdivisions, like there's pretty small backyards. These people all had I don't know, half an acre or something. And more than enough to grow a decent sized vegetable garden, or an acre maybe, I don't know. A lot of them had cows and chickens and things like that too. Pete, we have different Amish churches near us. Depending on how much technology they accept seems to impact how self-sufficient they are. Very true, very true. So the place where we get our peaches, they get the peaches from down south and they bring them up. And then I go up there and I get them from them. The peaches are apples, pears. They are much more conservative and use a lot more old technology. And I mean, they're still using hand tools to put screws in for roofing. They definitely can a lot and prepare a lot for the winter. But these guys not. I mean, there's individuals. Some do more, some do less. But as a whole, it doesn't seem like they do as much. And then the Mennonite Friends, same thing. Most of them they'll have lots of technology. There'd be some that can more for sure. Karen, well, I do have a small garden, but no animals. There's always room for a goat. Chicken? Chicken first, not goat?
Chicken.
I can't live without a goat.
Oh, yes, you can.
Pete, so I have seen what you have noticed with some of your neighbors. Caitlin's probably messing us the small gardens. Patty, to answer your question, I live in an apartment in a city outside of Portland. There's no place to grow food here. Only one community garden. All right, so she lives there. There's no place to grow food, and there's only one community garden.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably a limit to how much you can use there, I'm guessing. Like in a community garden. Like if we came in, with all our kids and planted a garden and take over the whole thing, they probably wouldn't like it.
Yeah, this is true.
Patty again, fibromyalgia, I suffer that. Here our pain drugs are highly regulated now. Well, I find everything is now. So I'm still fighting an ear infection. It's been 6 weeks, 7 weeks. I think I'm starting to get on top of it now. And but I've been on these antibiotics, so I'm like, what happened to the good days where you popped a couple of them and bam, you're feeling better, right? Like, it seems like they're really weak.
Yeah.
Like, what's taking
I
so long?
finally told him to do a double dose because I'm like, it's ridiculous.
I can't imagine putting my cattle on 2 weeks worth of drugs. Like, stick them with something good and get them fixed up, right? Like, anyway, we'll keep trying. Patty, laugh out loud, oh my eye.
You're talking. What's the big announcement?
Censored news now. Who's that?
We haven't made
What's
the announcement.
the big announcement?
We haven't said yet.
Oh, we told him Finley's walking.
Oh,
That's a pretty big announcement.
It's a pretty big announcement.
Patty, people here during World War II grew 40% or more of the country's food.
Mm-hmm.
You mean in Portland? Or in Oregon? Or just in general? That's the other thing. Most of our food, a lot of it's trucked in.
Mm-hmm.
People aren't concerned about it. And that's another discouraging thing I find in Canada. I don't know if the States is better, and I think it's probably the same. Farmers just aren't appreciated like they used to be. We don't get paid. I got it. We're doing okay, but we don't get real value for what we produce. Like we have to produce that much more now than we did 10 years ago to make the same living, and that's really discouraging.
Like we, as in the whole
Everybody, not
like
just us.
farmers.
Right, we're doing all right, but to be able to help our children, right? We've got 8 children, 5 boys. Obviously, some of them are pretty small yet, but at this point, all 5 boys would like to farm, and it is our hope and desire to help all our children to succeed in that. Pretty tough to do that now. And you go back 100 years ago, a guy, was working hard enough. He would buy another farm and another farm, another farm, and he'd have his children on the farm. That is really tough now. The land price is too high, and what we get paid for our products is way too low, at least in this country. So I don't know. I love searching and reading and looking and stuff. I haven't really found another country where it's a lot better, but it's discouraging here. I mean, really tough to grow, and especially with land prices the way they are. We got another 10 years or so. Well, less than that. We'd like to help our oldest boy out now. He's 21. It'd be nice to help him out with something. But then we got 10 years, and we need to seriously start considering the rest of them. Karen, I live in a trailer park, so they will not let me have any animals. No. Right? Yeah, a lot of those places would have stipulations. A lot of times you can have. Well, you'd have to look at your local codes, but I know a lot of places
not
here.
Chickens.
Hey?
They won't let chickens in there.
Well, City of Kitchener, you allowed chickens.
Yeah, that's Elk Lake wasn't allowed.
No, that one wasn't. I know that was strange. Yeah. No livestock. Is how it was written. But there are a lot of little places where you can have wild, and maybe sometimes you could argue the case that hey, that city's allowed to have a chicken. Why can't I have a chicken? But then again, one chicken's not really gonna, be enough to feed you either. Patty, hey Karen, it's like that here too. Trailer park.
HOA.
What's an HOA?
Can be.
Not sure. Association. Something.
Can be so restricted.
Can be so restricted, and some won't let people grow veggies here. Well, that seems really silly too. That's another thing that's interesting, I find. You drive through, everybody spends so much time manicuring their lawn and making their lawns look so beautiful and nice, and nobody grows food in it.
Think of the amount of chemicals to make that really.
Yeah, but when did that happen? At what point did we decide that we needed
I don't know. I look in other countries like Romania and I don't know, Russia and you see their lawns like
food.
Yeah, or they're not manicured at all. They're just growing wild. It's just, obviously we became high maintenance people that needed our lawns to be cut nice. And
this there was this thing floating around. It was a picture of a grandma working in the front yard in the garden, and it was something about this is why, it had to do with what was coming. You guys are about to find out, what it was like for them or something. I forget. But anyway, it was their house, and in the front yard it was all food. And it seems so strange that most people, everybody spends so much time and effort making this beautiful green grass.
Which I think is so weird because it's like a certain generation ago, right? It wasn't that long ago we went through really, really hard times with World War II. It seems so strange that the next generation didn't carry on with that prepping and that.
Because it became too convenient in the grocery stores, my guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Who was the first guy to start growing this nice lawn, and then it caught on, and everybody started growing lawn instead of food?
Yeah, I don't know.
All the new subdivisions, of course, you just buy a house with lawn.
Yeah.
Patty, restrictions are put in place by homeowners associations. So homeowners, there we go. Or landlords who are making a killing off residents.
Okay.
Centered News, I saw acreage in the Ozarks for under $1,000 an acre. Yeah, that's considered a reasonable price in today's standards for sure. But that still adds up. 100 acres will still cost somebody $100,000, right? So for someone to start out, for a young person, when we started out, we were flat broke. We didn't have anything. There's nobody was going to give us $100,000, and that's bare land. You got to put a house on that. Yet you price that out, it doesn't take long to ring up $200,000 on a house. Get a trailer. I think we've seen used trailers, $20,000, $15,000, $20,000. You get a reasonably sized, 13-foot wide by how long are they? 70 feet or something trailer. So that would work fine. But a lot of places won't let you put a trailer in, at least around here. They will not have mobile homes. You have to build an actual house with a foundation. So you have to be careful. I don't know Ozarks. I'm not sure what it's like there, but I know there's areas here where they won't let you put in a mobile home. So that's consideration. Then you need a real house. Then you want you hooked up to the grid. You need your septics. You need your, this, that. You need a well. You start adding all the costs up. It's not $1,000 an acre anymore, right? So, if you can get by with not having all that stuff, if they'll allow it, then that'll save you a fair bit of money. But otherwise, the costs get up pretty quick. And for a young couple starting out, who's got that? We didn't. It took us a long time to finally save up $14,000 for a down payment on our first house, and that was a house that's only cost us $55,000, and we had to do a lot of work to it. It was a dump. We did an enormous amount of work to that house, and then sold it. And with that nest egg, we bought the next place, and then slowly but surely we got to where we are today. And I think that's good. It helps build character, but it's tough. So
it gets discouraging.
Yeah.
In a world where you can never get ahead.
The other thing is that
the homeless.
I would like our children to be around us, ideally. My grandfather, my mother's father, was able to put 5 boys on a farm, and they were all, fairly close proximity, within 20 minutes drive of each other. So that would be ideal if it's possible. But that's tough to do now, where we are anyway. Karen, people can have cats and dogs, but no chickens. Well, whenever the guy comes from the homeowners association, you just dress your chicken up like a cat. Right? It's the weirdest thing. This cat's been clucking. I don't know what's going on. Pete, you mentioned earlier you're concerned about the future of Christianity. It would be great for you to hold a longer discussion about that sometime. Oh, I can get on it for a long time if you like. I'm very concerned about that in our Western world, because it's becoming. There's been cases now where Christian people have been penalized for not something I would call a radical opinion. It's just common sense Christian principles that we're not even allowed to mention anymore, in a world where people can't even figure out the plumbing anymore. It's really just. It's become a very strange world, and we're not supposed to say anything because otherwise it's hate speech, or it's whatever term they want to throw at you. And I mean, I can get by with that, whatever. But how much longer until there's prison terms, and there's maybe huge monetary fines, or there's
even our next generation, right? How long until we can't homeschool anymore? How long until they decide that we are not fit parents because we're not teaching
the agendas that's getting shoved down through. I mean, we homeschool now, so we're safe from that, thankfully. But some of the stuff that's getting forced into these curriculums in schools, there's going to come a time where they're going to say, hey, you know what? These homeschooling kids aren't getting this, and this is important stuff. They need to get this too. Through COVID, there was already talks about that, stopping homeschooling and forcing everybody to go to a government school. If that happens, we're definitely out of here. Patty, censored. Land is far less there than out west here. Censored. Missing something.
It's probably all right. She'll fill us in.
She will. Karen, well, I'm off to bed. It's been a long day.
Oh, and we didn't even tell you our big
Good night,
news.
Karen. Patty, the mowed lawn began as a sign of wealth. My dad's generation was all about the perfect green lawn.
There you go.
I always cracks me up with the dandelions. Everybody spends so much time and money killing dandelions, and then, the amount of benefits we've been reading about with dandelions, right? I mean, what you can all do with them. The roots, you can make like a coffee out of them, and then you can eat the dandelion tea. You can have them in salads. They're supposed to be very good as antioxidants. So they have so many health properties, and everybody's doing their best to kill them.
That's true.
Patty, good night, Karen. Night, Patty. Patty, can't touch an acre for $1,000. It's exponentially higher here. Yeah, so you could hear not too terribly long ago, bare land then, or maybe treed. I would say that's probably 3,000 an acre now here. 14, 15 years ago, we looked at going north, quite a ways north of here, almost as far north as you can go before you have to go west. And it was, you could find land for $300 an acre, but that was remote, all bush, no cleared, and like no road access, no hydro. But we thought, hey, that's something we could afford. Of course, we couldn't even afford that at that time.
No.
That would get you 160 acres. There's 160 acre chunks at $300 an acre, and then you'd have to go in there and clear it and do something with it. That now would run close to the $1,000 an acre. That same stuff, but that's a chunk of bush. Like you can't even farm that. What is this, fog coming in the window?
I think so. I was just saying the same thing.
Interesting. Looks like you got the windows open and it's just a layer of fog rolling in.
I was like, is that smoke? Like, is there?
It doesn't smell like nothing. Yeah, that's weird. So that would be the cheapest land I can think of, and that's just bush. Now you could go west. Out west it's cheaper, but you need a lot more land to do the same thing. South of here in southern Ontario, I've heard of land go for as much as $35,000 per acre, farmland. So people would be buying a 100-acre farm for $35,000 an acre. There's no buildings on that. Okay, that is insane. How that's crazy. Bassomatic. I'm in northern Saskatchewan. Crime out of control. I personally had to phone the RCMP 4 times in August. Never phoned the police in my life before then. Yeah.
I believe it.
I don't know where in northern Saskatchewan. We were out in northern Saskatchewan too, and there's a lot of crime. We lived in the country. We never had a single problem, not one. But in the small villages and towns, it blew us away, the kind of crime. Like people would lose gazebos out of their backyard.
Trampoline.
Like, how does that go missing? They wake up in the morning and, hey, the gazebo's gone. Somebody stole it in the middle of the night.
Trampoline's gone.
Yep, trampoline.
Like
the one guy
out with a trampoline.
Yeah, down the road, I guess. I don't know. Sell it for drugs. What do you have? I don't know. Kids' toys. All the Tonka trucks. Kids go out in the morning to play with their toys again. All the Tonkas are stolen and gone.
Yep.
Things like that. That was, so how long have we been back? 2.5 years? That was then already. But
yeah, it was an eye-opener for us.
Yeah. Patty, there is a backlash in the U.S. against the curriculum in schools happening here, thankfully. Yeah, not enough here. I think Canadians as a whole tend to be very just laid back. And to some degree, Christianity's taught us that, to just kind of turn the other cheek constantly. So squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? It's these very, very small minority of people that are pushing all this agenda, and they scream loud. They're very vocal. They're very violent. They're very in your face, and they're being listened to. And it's also a satanic agenda, which I think our whole world is moving in that direction. So that stuff's gaining traction, where a lot of us are like, this is crazy. It'll go away. It's just a fad, right? It's just a phase. But you go over the last 20 years, this fad, this phase, this thing isn't going away. It's just snowballing into a bigger and bigger problem.
Like everybody wants to keep their head down. Nobody likes confrontation.
That too, yeah. Media can smear you pretty quick too, I guess. So.
Yeah.
But it's something that needs to be dealt with, because a nation that walks away from God is very quickly going to lose its blessings. Centered news now. I wish more churches were like the Amish. They focus on helping each other build houses and have large families. What church are you a part of? I'm not part of any church. We don't have like-minded fellowship here right now. There would be some individuals that we could probably discuss with, but we don't actually have a church. We just class ourselves as conservative Christians. We hold to a fairly literal translation of the Bible, I guess, but we don't claim to have complete knowledge. We're searching and studying, and we're very open-minded. But we are grounded in what we believe until shown otherwise, I guess. Similarly to a lot of Mennonites, not the Amish so much here. No, they're fairly laid back here, actually. This group.
A lot of Amish, even though they appear in practice to be very humble and live traditional lives, a lot of them don't actually know what scripture reads. So this group, they do somewhat, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them read it in German.
Different language, yeah.
And they don't actually teach their children.
Well, there's High German and Low German or something, so they read it in one and then...
Yeah. So a lot of them hold more to their traditional ways than they do biblically what's right and wrong.
They are big on community, though. They do help each other out a lot.
Yeah.
And that's something we're really impressed with. I think all of us should be like that. Everybody's been living so selfishly, every man for himself. And that's not what it's all about. I can't take anything that I have with me. We should be more willing to help one another. And I think the more wealthy we get, the more we tend to be selfish, right?
Right.
It's weird how the poorer families tend to have more children, or the poorer nations tend to have a higher birth rate.
I do feel like in a lot of these like old conservative groups, not just Amish, but like Amish, Mennonite, like those type of groups, I have noticed, not maybe all of them, but there's been a real push in their culture as well not to have as many children. Either the doctors are getting to them or the nurses. Like there's a lot of pressure from our medical people, like having large families is not normal, right? So I've been told multiple times myself that, there's solutions to this issue if you need to deal with it, right? From our medical staff. And
we had that one doctor, he talked to you privately when I was out of the room or something. You realize you don't have to have children.
Yeah, like if you're being pressured, there is ways that we can deal with this. And like, you do realize it takes two people to have these children, right? Like, I don't think it's a pressure issue, right?
No.
Anyway, so there is a lot of that, and I've noticed that in a lot of groups, that, they're not having as big of families either, and it's becoming normal for them.
Yeah, but I do value that they do spend a lot of time working together. The Mennonite groups that we know as well, especially one group up north there, they have a lot of fellowship time together. They have barbecues together, or bonfires together, or singing, or it's nice. We miss that. Although we don't identify as Mennonite, and we're not into the whole rules list thing that they have per se. I did love the fellowship, and still do. I mean, we have Mennonite friends. We get together with them once in a while. They live quite a ways from here, 5 hours, but I enjoy their company very much, and we feel our children are safe around their children. It's we're not worried about what they're talking about, right?
Yeah, that's so true.
Patty, censored was because I don't know what censored news now's name is. Oh, I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. Now I scroll back and think about that. Land. Okay, yeah, you were saying it to him.
Yeah,
I got you.
I'm just eating and eating and eating.
Oh, that's okay. You can keep eating. Pete, the challenge with land price here is that people from the cities can come up and they'll pay the super high prices. Local people are priced out because our incomes can't compete. Yep. And that's what happened here where we are. This place is traditionally hasn't moved because it's disconnected from the mainland by ferry. It hasn't moved in price much. But now with COVID and stuff, I think a lot of people kind of had an eye opener. They wanted to get out of the city, and also there's more remote working now with better internet connections. So yeah, you can sell a house in town that, I always call it chicken coop, right? You get a little garden shed or something in the city. It's worth a couple $1 million.
Yep. Just
because of the location. So they can go ahead and sell that, and they can come out here. They don't care what it costs. If they want it, they just buy it. They have $2 million in the bank. And we can't compete with that. Not at all. Patty, wow, gazebo theft. Yeah, I know, that one cracked me up. I was like, seriously, your gazebo? How do you run off with a gazebo? Trampoline's a lot lighter than a gazebo.
Challenge, eh?
But it was
like
gone, I guess. And then what? You go to your drug dealer on the corner. Hey, man, I got a gazebo. You got some stuff.
Yeah, but can you imagine? Did they dismantle it, or did they run down the street with this gazebo? You move it. Maybe they moved it X amount of feet.
And the fact that nobody sees it,
yeah.
right? I thought it was funny. Well, it's not. I mean, it's your stuff that got missing, but it's just the idea. Seeing a bunch of guys hike down the road with a gazebo, I thought it was funny. Patty, exactly. Wealth leads to sense of self-pride, not needing anyone to help. And yep. And then the more we have, the less we want to share. It's totally dumb. And that's what I was trying to get at there with the large families. You go to countries that are poor, they still have large families. And it's not like all the kids are starving. I don't mean that poor. Like just people that are less well off. The richer people are, the more they say, oh, we can't afford to have more children. Like what? I mean, you eat out at fancy restaurants how many times a week? How could you not afford to have another child? Like, it doesn't even cost that much to have a child. Like
an extra potato.
Yeah, one more. I mean, we have 8 of them. It's not. Yeah, sure, our grocery bills can add up, but think of people's car payments or their trips to Mexico or I don't know where they all go. That all costs money too. Needs and wants. Yeah, I'm not judging anybody. You go ahead if you want a trip to Mexico and you don't want to have any more children. That's your choice. Patty, the church I'm part of is a strong community, and we do help one another, which is wonderful. Yeah, that's what it's about.
We should have a disclaimer on our thing.
What's the disclaimer?
Whatever we say,
Don't hold it against us.
We mean no offense. We're very opinionated sometimes.
Oh, we try to be open-minded, but I was just discussing with a guy today there, had to do, what did you say here? Oh, helping one another, yeah. The inequality in some churches is quite something. You'll have, somebody that has just a ton of money and the next guy can hardly afford to put shoes on his kids. That shouldn't be, right? We should be more, it's not our stuff at the end of the day. It doesn't belong to us. It's all God's. And, yeah, that conversation came up. He was saying that these people are really going to be held to account at some point because they aren't giving of what they've been given, right? And it's something for all of us to think about.
Feel like the more we get, the more I have such a clingy, right, on even just our material stuff, right? When we were like decluttered before we moved and stuff like that, I felt so much relief, but now I feel like we're cluttered again and I just need to declutter. And I
get attached to stuff.
Yeah, and then I don't feel actually very giving to other people. You almost get possessive of it, right? That it's like that you deserve it and they should make their own. And yeah, it's just it's a backwards thinking, right?
Well, there is an element to that because you can't just give everything away. And there are some people that will constantly keep mooching. They'll never, but if somebody's just down on their luck and they need some money, I'd gladly help them out, right?
Yeah, but my motto used to always be if they need it that bad, they can have it.
Yeah.
Right? Like if somebody was going to take something of yours, if they need it that bad, they can have it. But now I'm like, no, I think I would fight them for it.
Oh, you wouldn't.
I just, I don't know. It's just the more you have. I just feel like when we were first together, first married, and we had such a hard time, it was like, I just felt so, it doesn't really matter. We had each other kind of thing, right? And now I'm like, I don't know. No, maybe I should. You knew where I was going with
that.
No, I don't. Now I got lots, and we don't need each other.
You don't need each other at all. Well, I still need you.
Yeah, I need you.
Censored news. I wish I could have a lot of children like you guys. There's nothing more important than children. How did you find a wife that wanted a lot of children? Well, I didn't find her. God just put us in each other's path, and it all just worked out. We discussed that a little bit, but not a lot.
When we were dating.
When we were dating. But when we decided to get married and we found a minister that would marry us, it was in a Presbyterian church actually. And then he wanted us to do, what do you call that? Like premarital course or something or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think 2 nights or something, we had to sit down with him and fill in this thing. And so we both filled in and said, how many children do you want? We both filled in 5 or more.
Yeah, but we're in separate rooms.
Yeah, I didn't know what she was writing. We both just filled in 5 or more. And it was like a compatibility thing, or I'm not sure what the point of it was. But then that's when we were like, oh, there you go. So we're on the same page. But we've never really, I don't know, there's been a few times we're like, okay, that's enough kids. We don't need any more. And then, they grow up and we're like, one more won't hurt, because we just missed having a little tiny baby around. Mm-hmm. So maybe that feeling will stop when we have grandkids.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can tell them.
But Yeah, there's 11 people on here. We are expecting our 9th child, actually. So
Yeah, that's our big news that we
that's our
haven't even
big
told
news.
our
Yeah.
family.
So if our
You guys
family's
get to
watching,
know.
now you know. Surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so,
if they're not, you guys know before our family.
yeah, we're
Pretty excited.
very excited about that. It'll be February, middle of February
Ish, yeah.
ish. Yeah. 9th baby. So very exciting. And you heard it first, right here, folks.
You heard it, not heard it.
Heard it.
You heard it first.
I spoke's funny. Oh, look at that on the bottom of the list. Patty, developers have bought up farmland, covering it with homes here. That happens a lot too, unfortunately. And then, yeah, they don't make any more farmland, so it.
That was the announcement I was expecting. 9 children. Congratulations.
I shouldn't say they don't make any more farmland in Ontario. Here, there's still, I would say millions of acres covered in trees up north. Loads and loads and loads of it, and it's farmable. It just needs to be cleared, and so they do clear thousands of acres every year. But there's a pile of it there. If somebody really wanted, you can buy that. That's that land I was talking about. It used to be like $600 an acre. It's good farmland, but it's just covered in trees. It would take several years of work, and there is actually government initiatives to help people with clearing that and to, to get it going, tile drain it, that kind of stuff. There is government funds available. It's an enormous amount of work, and it would still cost you quite a bit to do, but there is an option for that, and so there is more farmland there, and it's good stuff once you get it developed. But the best farmland is already taken right in southern Ontario. It's already sitting underneath concrete, as we say. Censored news now. That was the announcement I was expecting. 9 children. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, literally, we've called it quits 3 times, 4 times. And we're like, yeah, it's enough kids, I feel really selfish for making that decision now. Because if the Lord figures we should have another one, then, well, I'll look at it this way. Which one of our 8 children should we send back? Right? That's kind of how I look at it. I mean, we were going to stop, and I feel really selfish for trying to make that decision. I know you do too.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're such wonderful little human beings that we have here now, right? And I wouldn't want to give any of them up. Yeah. And there's totally more room. So that's one thing we've always said. There's more room. We have more love in our hearts, and if we can't have any more, we've also talked. Then we'll get into adopting, because we feel we have the capacity to look after more mentally, physically, emotionally. We have
not even just us, but like as our children get older, I just feel like it's such a like we talk about that community. Like our other children are. Like we just work together, and my heart overflows when I see my oldest children with the younger children holding hands and trying to teach them things and encourage them in things. And it's like, it's not just us with the love. It's like our whole family has the love for other children and more people. And
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Very true. There we go. Patty, oh yay, congratulations. Thank you. Pete, congratulations. Glad I could stay on long enough to hear it. Gotta get to bed now, though. Thanks for a good discussion.
Thanks for staying so long.
Yeah, thanks for sticking around. Oh my, we're almost an hour and a half here. Have a good night. Patty, good night. Pete. Marilyn, congratulations. I've been listening for a bit, but hadn't commented. Soon you will have grandchildren, and they are great too. I look forward to that.
Yeah.
That's another thing I always think is weird. The amount of people are like, oh, no grandchildren. No, I'm too young for that. Not too young. What? Since when does it have to be an age? Like having a grandchild suddenly makes you feel old? Or mind you, there is a lot of, and I don't know if any of you are out there, but there's a lot of grandmothers that are still trying to act like they're in their 20s, right? So a lot of older people refuse to age. And I guess then if you're in that boat, then maybe you don't want grandkids. I look forward to it. I don't care how old I am. If our preferably all our children will get married first and then have children. But I look forward to that. Absolutely.
I do.
Hold a little grandkid. Wonderful. Pete, good night, Patty. And Patty, children are a gift from God.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah, they're not ours, and that's something that I think people need to take into account too. They don't belong to us. It's just something we get to look after, just like everything. I guess obviously the children are more important than our stuff, but they're not ours. We just do the best we can with them, steer them in the right direction. Right?
On that note, we should probably say goodnight.
We should, yeah. So we got to find the little guy back. He's gone.
Yeah.
The baby's gone.
All right. I'm so excited.
Ellen, I'm so excited for y'all. Congratulations. You guys are truly blessed. We feel blessed. We really do. We're not worthy of this life that we have. But we try to give back. I guess that's what makes it good. Patty, being a young grandparent has its benefits. Yeah, for sure.
You can keep
being
up.
all bent over and crap and you can't keep with the
up
kids.
with the
That would
little
be
ones.
good.
Yeah.
No, I look forward to it. And try to stay healthy so that we can keep up with them. Even great grandkids, man, that would be just a blessing. Wonderful. I hope all of our children have 10 children.
I guess I only fear I have with the grandkids is that I've messed up my kids, that the grandkids would be messed up. You know what I mean?
We just won't invite those ones over.
I just worry that, if I don't do a good enough job, it'll reflect into my grandkids and then
100% it will.
And
100% it will.
I'm
biased, but I think you're doing a good job.
Well, I hope so.
So we'll find out when they're older. But if they're misbehaving, we just won't invite them over anymore.
Yeah,
We'll tell them we moved. Or something. Right?
Yeah, right.
All right, y'all. It's been fun. And
thanks for joining us.
Well, like I said, we've got a couple of videos coming up this week. I think you're going to do some editing tomorrow.
I think so.
So, yeah, stay tuned for that. And we'll catch you all then. Bye.
I'm not sure how to turn this off.
Oh, neither am I. Guess we should figure that out. There's an X here. What's that?
There you go.
Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Okay. Bye.
Goodbye.